All right, good afternoon, YouTube. Today I wanted to talk about we're all prepping for obviously this year was for the Rona. All these events going on, so many world events, so many things to put your finger on. So the thing that I wanted to real short video today. I wanted to give y'all some terms that y'all can look up for yourself, and that will help you to understand why it's so important to prep. There's hurricanes, especially in the Gulf Coast, East Coast. You got tornadoes in the Midwest, floods, fires like in out in the West Coast. So many things that should be reason enough to prep. Okay, but today we're gonna discuss what's going on in the world that affect the United States, here, and people everywhere. Okay, so I'm gonna give y'all some terms that y'all can look up, and it's better if y'all look it up, and so y'all can understand at your pace. But very important that you look them up. Okay, these terms will help you understand what is going on with these terms that you hear about the reset, our economy, about this pandemic that's going on. They're all tied in together. So many dots to look at, but these dots all connect. Okay, so the first term that I would like for y'all to look at is Agenda 21. Okay, make a long story short on that one. It's basically the corporations and governments, whatever you want to call them, they want to take over all the resources, all the land, and put people, shove them into the cities. That's being very general, but there's a lot of details in that, and you can see them happening in your town. Okay, these Agenda 21 is basically UN, and it's passed through your city council, even through your school districts. Okay, Agenda 21. Another one is Agenda 2030. So Agenda 2030, when I first heard of it, I thought maybe they brought it up because they were late getting Agenda 21 implemented, and they were not going to make it. But obviously they were right on time, because Agenda 21 actually started with all this, with the pandemic, the economic collapse, or economic downturn. All these things are a part of Agenda 21, so it looks like they're like right on schedule. Okay, another term I would like for y'all to look at is the World Economic Forum. I mean, these guys are all over they're right in your face. The World Economic Forum is basically the entity that is basically writing down this list of things they would like to see, and the governments, local governments, federal governments, state governments, the public health officials are basically following their recommendations. That's how they're doing it. But for you to look at it for yourselves, okay? The World Economic Forum. The next bullet point is Event 201. I'm not a scientist. I do my own research. I do my due diligence for myself and my family. Event 201 is basically was a conference that was held in New York, and sponsored by Johns Hopkins University. And they basically, what that event was, it's like a little show, and it basically talks about what would happen if there was an economic collapse and at the same time a worldwide pandemic. Okay, and I'll let y'all look at that so y'all can see the name that they picked for this pandemic. Like I said, these dots are out there and they're connected and they're in your face, but I wanted y'all to take a look at them. Next term is sustainable development. And sustainable development is it's a catchphrase, part of Agenda 21. You see it like global warming, green deals, whatever. That's a catchphrase that they use to push their agendas, but something that y'all can look at. The next one is very important. It's the Deagle report, DEAGEL report, REPORT. This is a CIA, basically a CIA contractor. They write reports. They do contract work for intelligence agencies, and this report basically has a list of all the nations of the world with all their different stats like population, how much they spend on the military, GDP. For example, I believe it starts in 2017, and then they jump to 2025, and they compare whether the country went up or down in population and GDP, how much they spend on military spending, their population. And so for the United States and for what we call the Western Anglo nations, most of the populations are down like at least 50% by 2025. So I think it's very important for us to keep that in mind and prepare accordingly. So it's something y'all can look at. Now the next one is Jade Helm 15, and that was in 2015. It was a military exercise that was held on U.S. soil, and a lot of people protested that because I believe by law the military cannot be out on the streets on American soil. I don't know exactly the the specifics to that law. It's kind of like posse comitatus. So there was a lot of pushback by the public. But Jade Helm, it was basically from what I understand, was a AI military planning to coordinate all the different army groups, battalions, whatever, squads, whatever. It was going to be coordinated by computer instead of by generals and colonels or whatever. What they were going to use was another term I wanted y'all to look up, which was geospatial information systems. Okay, and this relates to like your cell phones, the 5G, your cell phones, at your houses, your radios, your stereos in your car. It uses the Wi-Fi, and basically these military planners know where you are, where everybody's at, whether you're considered a friendly, or whether you're on a list like maybe a conservative that is believes in the Constitution, or people they deem to be a threat to national security. Okay, so geospatial information systems is what they're going to use, from what I understand, but something that you want to look at. And so the reason that I'm bringing all this up, it's very important, is because it kind of ties into how, in my opinion, how they were going to have contact tracing for the Rona. How are they going to do that? It's basically a control grid, a system of control. And not to sound, like a conspiracy theorist or whatever. I'm just a critical thinker, and these things are in your face, and I think that's very important for all of us that are prepping. What are we preparing for besides natural disasters? And you got to prepare for everything. So they really put the system. They've created a system that's really very efficient. Let me put it that way. At keeping track of us, where we are, and these AI computers are so advanced. I mean, they can predict your behavior, like where you're going, what are you gonna do, like with 97% accuracy. So I think it's very important for us to start preparing and keeping that in mind, and start to maybe peacefully push back. You gotta stand up when they're trying to take away your rights, or when they're pushing you into a corner. I think people have just gotten slowly acclimated to being told what to do, and if we have to prep, that's another reason we have to prep. I mean, and that's something that we shouldn't have to do. But again, we're gonna discuss on this channel. We're gonna discuss as many reasons as we can why we have to prep, and how it came about. In the case that it's not a natural disaster, a lot of these reasons that we have to prep are man-made, and the worst ones, in my opinion, are man-made reasons. And so I believe that it does us all good to be aware of all the possibilities, and so that we can be aware. It's situational awareness. Be aware of what's going on. Not just, you got to think outside the box, because that's the way the ruling class, that's the way they think. They're always studying. They're always preparing. They're very organized, and so we have to be organized. And so if you don't know what a threat is, if you don't know that your life is in danger for a certain reason, then that you're behind. So as part of our survival instinct, as part of our ability to stay alive and our families, we have to be aware of all possibilities. And some of them are not obvious, some of them are very abstract, some of them are like you wouldn't even think of them, but some of them are like right in your face. And so that's why I gave you this small list just to look at. There's a lot of us. There's a lot of people on this planet, supposedly over 7 billion. So 7 billion is a lot more than the ruling class, So let's be prepared, not just in physically, not just with our preps, with how much preps or food, water, materials we have stocked up, but also we got to be prepared in the mind, because like I've told you before, this is a psychological warfare. And so you have to be strong in the mind. Keep God and our Lord Jesus Christ in your heart, and keep in mind that this is a spiritual battle, and the powers that be in the ruling class, these people are the agents of whatever you want to call it, the evil, the negative force, whatever. But they're bad people, and they don't care about us. So we have to prepare for our families and take care of each other. Okay, because we got to be there for each other. And so hope this video was informative. Look up these terms, and from there'll be other terms. It'll lead you down other directions, but this is very basic, very and I think it's gonna help you all out to be prepared and to keep an eye on things that you wouldn't have otherwise. You might have missed it or overlooked it, but they're there. So y'all have a blessed day, and you have a great evening. Bye.